Yeah, so, so good evening to all. I would like to welcome all the panelists who are veteran in the financial services or financial sector, and they have very large experience also, very wide experience. And I would like to welcome all the participants who have joined us in this webinar on a very important topic, which is related to venture funding, step-by-step approach for any venture funding. So we thought let us discuss this topic because you see in our country there is a great momentum on the entrepreneurship side. Even the students who are in class 10, they are looking to enter into the entrepreneurship journey. Just for example, my daughter, she was very small, some 4 or 5 years back. She has started talking about the entrepreneurship, that I would like to start something, how it will be done. Generally, in the family, the girls are not looking the discussion or not interested much of the discussion on this side, but there is a big change. So it is very important for us to discuss on the venture funding, the steps, various steps involved. So not only in the metro city, but you see in the semi-urban and even in the tier 3 and tier 4 cities, we are getting a lot of traction from the students, from the young generation. Those are looking to enter into the entrepreneurship journey rather than choosing for the 5-digit or 6-digit jobs for them. So you see, very recently we have seen one show on the TV, live show on the TV. This was related on the Sony has basically telecasted it, called it the Shark Tank India. Actually, we have seen the people who have come in that show from the different part of the country, and they are doing wonderful thing. And if they can get the support of the some kind of funding at the stage where whenever they are looking for this funding, I think they can do wonder. Actually, with the small money, this the things can change, and the lot of problems which we are facing, it can be solved with that funding actually. So friends, the venture funding is a topic. I think venture funding is a very risky investment actually, if you see. So I will say that it's a very risky and it's a highly rewarding also. So will not so everywhere when the risk is there, the reward is there actually. If I see long back, this in 2005, Shell Partners invested something around $12 million in the company called Facebook, and against 10% equity. And when they sold out in 2010, half of some part of that equity, they sold out at $500,000. And when in 2012, when they exited from that equity, I think they made something around $9 billion actually. So the number is mind-boggling actually. They cannot say 100%, 200%, 500%. It can be 10,000% growth in the money also from the venture capital funding point of view. But there are many cases where the startup or the organization could not grow, and the venture funds have lost their money also. So it's a highly risky and highly rewarding also from that point of view. So as you see, the venture funds are basically the funds, those are registered, those are having some kind of regulatory requirement or their regulatory control. They have to register with them, with the regulator of that country. They have to have the experienced people who have to support them, and they are getting money either from the institutional investors or from the HNI, from the family offices. So they are pooling the money from the different investors, different kind of investors, and then they are putting this money, they are giving this money to the the entrepreneurs who are looking to grow further. They are evaluating the entire the business model. They are doing a lot of exercise, and after that they are supporting the organization, and not only the money, they are helping in their growth also. So this is a good thing that when anybody is going for venture funding, they are getting the support in terms of either partnership support or technology support. There are many kind of supports can be available from the venture funds to the entrepreneurs. And as we have seen, our Startup India, I think, is a wonderful achievement in our country. I think we have crossed more than 50 unicorns in a very short span of time. I think we are third or fourth in the world on the number of unicorns in a country. That is something which is, I think, creating some kind of interest also among the entrepreneurs or among the young generation, that they are looking to enter, and they want to become the entrepreneur. They want to solve the problem and find out the space for them actually. So now they are not the employee, they are the people who are giving the employment actually. So that is good, and I think more than 50,000 startups are already working. Government has done a lot for the startup, even for venture capital also in our country. So there are 3-4 kind of investors are there. So for funding of any organization or any entrepreneur, there are mainly there are two kind of instruments are there. One is debt, another is equity. So debt, you know that debt is a traditional kind of system is there, where any entrepreneur who is setting up the business and they are looking for money from the banking system, from the other channels. It is, I think, a big challenge, because they have to have some kind of profitability. They have to have some kind of the collateral security. So there are many benchmarks are there, which is not possible for the young entrepreneur or the people who are starting the business to meet out these expectations or the I think the requirements. So the another way, equity, and within equity there are steps. First, any entrepreneur is bringing his own money, either from his own savings, his or her own savings, or family money, friends money. Then they are going to the angel investors, then they are going to the VC funds, then they are going to the private equity funds. So this is, and then they are going for IPOs further. So this is a journey which is dependent on the many steps. You cannot go directly for IPO unless until you are not an organization where you reached on that stage actually. So we have the experts who will definitely guide us, and they are keen to discuss here about their experience, their learnings. And I hope so that in the today discussion, our audience or our participants will definitely learn more about the venture capital, their approach, how they value the organization, how they help the organization also. So we have Dr. Ashok Ajmeraji, who is the founder of HCon Global Services Limited. So Ashok Ajmeraji, first of all, welcome to you, and thank you very much for joining with us. Then we have Mr. Milan Gantraji. Milanji, the founder and CEO of One Silver Bullet. So sir, welcome, and thank you very much for joining with us. Then we have Mr. B. Swaminathanji, who is the director of World 5 Fund. Swaminathanji, welcome to you, and thank you very much. So all of our panelists are having very wide experience, and they will cover up topic in a detailed manner. And so I'll not take much of the time of yours, and I would like to invite B. Swaminathanji, who is the director in World 5 Fund. So World 5 Fund is basically VC fund. And Mr. Swaminathan is having very wide experience working in the financial sector, and he has invested in the various startups also. And this VC, this World 5 is basically the SEBI registered AIF-1 fund. So there are 3 categories of funds are there as per the SEBI in India. This is AIF-1, AIF-2, and AIF-3. So I will, I'll invite to Mr. Swaminathan for his deliberation, where we would like to understand from him that how the VC funds are evaluating the companies, what they see, how much time they generally take, and how they help the organizations or the entrepreneurs in the VC journey actually. So he'll come out with the real experience of the VC fund. So thank you, and over to you, Swaminathan sir.
Thank you, Ashish ji, and thank you, Resurgent India, for inviting me as a speaker. I'm very happy to share my view and share my experience with the audience at large here at the webinar. Basically, I'll start by a very simplistic thing. What is a venture capital? Venture capital is a pool of money which a fund raises from various investors. The investor could be a high net worth person, it could be a family office, it could be an institution in India or global. So that pool of money is invested in various ventures which are termed as which can be termed as early stage, late stage, growth stage. There are various stages. We'll today restrict to early stage because that's what I think is the topic under discussion. So the topic is very apt, step-by-step approach. In fact, the venture capital firms have a step-by-step approach of evaluating proposals which come to them. Actually, to share an experience, on an average, we get 20 to 30 proposals a week. How do we evaluate so many proposals? So you can imagine the kind of the more popular you get, the more proposals you get. In fact, as Ashish ji was mentioning, the number of proposals in India are 50,000 numbers. So you can imagine the kind of entrepreneurship which is happening in this country. But what is also heartening to know is the number of funds which have been set up to invest in this class, which Ashish ji termed as a risk class. Yes, it is a very highly risky class. People want to invest in it. And let me share with you that 30 years back, when I first heard of this term venture capital, there used to be one venture capital firm called ICICI Ventures, earlier avatar called Technology Development and Investment Corporation of India, TDICI. So from that beginning, we have come a long way. 1990 and now 2020, I think the world has changed totally. Now the word is entrepreneurship, is something which every student who's in an engineering college or an MBA college wants to pursue. That's the first choice which a student is taking now, rather than going and joining Hindustan Lever or Colgate Palmolive or joining a consulting firm like McKinsey, etc. Everyone has now heard of success stories of people who become successful entrepreneurs. And what is even heartening is that entrepreneurs are commanding respect, and the government also is recognizing that how do you create jobs today through entrepreneurship, because they will create more jobs for people to employ. Gone are the days when government used to create jobs for people, the private sector or the public sector. Now everyone wants to do something on his own and do a venture fund. So how do we approach as a venture capital firm? How do we approach a proposal? जैसे मैंने पहले आपको कहा, and I made it clear, we are receiving a number of proposals. Our first line is that जब हमारे पास proposal आता है, so what we do is our analysts sift through the proposal. जितने आते हैं देखते हैं कि हमारे fund के लायक हैं कि नहीं. For example, my fund, World 5 Fund, is a technology fund. So is it technology? Is it really technology? The proposal, if it is not relating to technology, we reject it at the initial stage. We write to the entrepreneur, telling them the reason, and we write back to everyone saying that you please approach others because this is not our domain. On the technology proposals, our analysts first bring it to a team which evaluates for further consideration. आपके पास अगर 15-20 प्रपोजल होंगे, तो you will definitely evaluate कि which pursue for further evaluation. तो हमारी पहली लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस है, हम पहले देखते हैं कि कौन प्रमोटर हैं, वो क्या सोच रहे हैं, how are they solving a problem. Our basic intention is to know. We don't generally fund a single promoter. We fund a team. Means we don't want to actually restrict ourselves because young entrepreneurs tend to be very fickle about certain things. We don't want to get caught in that situation. As a venture capital firm, I'm managing money of third parties, means people who have given me money for management. So I have to be very clear to my mandate. I will evaluate a proposal. First line is that I will look at who the promoter is, what is the problem, and what are they solving it. उसके बाद मैं देखूंगा कि are there, have they actually made a product or a service, and how is it doing? Do they have a customer for that service or not? So that is the first thing. And do they have a paying customer? कस्टमर तो कोई भी आ सकता है विदाउट पेइंग. अगर आप किसी को बोले कि मेरा प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस यूज कीजिए, वो करेंगे. बट यू हैव टू एक्चुअली सी इफ इट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज यूजफुल. Thereafter, what we do is we meet the teams and take them through various things. First, we understand the product, we understand the market. The addressable market is something that we are very keen to know. Where will the product or service be used, and how big is it in India or globally? Who are the competitors? Is there someone already in that space? If there is no one, then how is it going to be used? Is it going to create a new demand, or is it going to satisfy an unmet need? That we have to evaluate. Then the thing is that then we have to also look at the technology which is going into it. In my fund, in my case, it is a technology product. So our investors always tell us, boss, don't tell me that this is a technology. Deep technology is, everyone says that I am using artificial intelligence or machine learning. So we have to understand what is the technology. Is it an IoT? Today, software as a service proposals are a dime a dozen. You have to sift through if there is a competing product or not, or is there someone already offering that in India, globally. All those things we need to evaluate. Then our other attempt is to see how is the team. The promoters and the founding members are there. They should have people also to down the line. So we evaluate that. Then we talk to the customers and seek from the customers, are they satisfied? Will they use this, continue to use this service or product? So that is another aspect we check. Then after that, we evaluate the business plan, means in the sense the financials which have been submitted. Means when we are going to fund the business needs of the company. What we typically fund are the gap. Means जैसे आपको अपने in a typical startup, they generally burn money. You would have heard of a term called cash burn. What is cash burn? Cash burn is something that the expenses of the firm are much more than the revenue. So we are actually funding their cash burn. So how much time period will the company take to become cash positive? That we have to see and evaluate, and then arrive at what is the minimum money it will take for the company to turn project positive. Means in the sense that they will start earning money. Then the other thing we definitely look is who else will come along with us. And इससे पहले, have they received money from someone else, a seed round or an angel round, or कौन वो angel है, या who's the seed funder? 99% we will know of some of them. We will not know everyone, but we will know some of them. When we do a check and balance in that score, how they are. So that is another checkbox that has to be seen. उसके बाद, after every box is ticked, Then we take the proposal to our IC, investment committee. In the IC, the team that is evaluated the proposal presents it to the IC members who are eminent people. In my case, there are very senior people. For example, there is the managing director of CARE, who's a close friend. Then there is someone who's the CFO of a very large corporate, someone who runs a software company, all eminent people. So they have their own view. We present our view to them. They come back with their feedback. On the second day, the promoters of the venture actually present the IC and also do a demo of their product or service. After that, the investment committee takes a view whether the fund would like to invest in that. If all is okay, the investment committee, generally in each IC we present 2 to 3 proposals. Generally, the IC will accept 1 or max 2. Then thereafter, we give them a term sheet. Term sheet has basic conditions: how much money the fund will give, what are the terms. Then we negotiate with the firm. The firm also has, the venture also would have certain things. They go back to the lawyer. There is a discussion in between. Then we come to a vote. And after they accept the term sheet, we then start a formal due diligence exercise. Then we check on accounting, and legally we check if everything is okay or not. It takes a bit of time. And after that, we negotiate a shared subscription agreement or a shareholder agreement, that you can say, which will list out the basic terms of how we are going to release the money. Then on the basis of the due diligence, we have conditions precedent in which we list out certain anomalies that we have observed and what we would be firm on in terms of the investment. After the conditions precedent are met, then we release the money. And thereafter comes the monitoring process, which is another exercise in itself. I'll today restrict it to this much. And thank you, Ashish. I think now I would request you to ask the other speakers to speak.
Thank you, Swaminathan-ji. I think you are very well covered from the fund point of view, step approach. This is the topic. So you have given the insight of the fund actually. That's a good thing. You have openly told to the people that how you evaluate the proposals and what is the success rate in the proposals also. So that is good actually. So thank you very much. So friends, now we have Ashok Ajmera-ji, who is the founder of Ashcon Global Services Limited. Ashok ji is the veteran in the financial services industry. I think he is in the whole gamut of financial services. And he got the doctorate award also from the University of South Korea. And he the international trainer, TV guest speaker. Right? Many things are there which I think he has done and he doing. And he has inclinedness towards the entrepreneurship, startups. So as a I think social service, he would like to help the people to give them the complete outlook about the how to prepare yourself when you are reaching to the venture funding actually. So that is very important, as Swaminathan sir has told that how the funds are evaluating, but before that, before reaching to the fund, it is very important how to reach the fund basically, and how to reach and before that, how to prepare yourself and what stage we should go to the fund actually. So many times the young entrepreneurs are doing the mistake. They are they are sending the proposals or they are sending the information to the funds when they are not ready actually. And as you told that Swaminathan-ji, that it is also very important to see that what is the mandate of the fund. In your case, suppose you are a technology fund and somebody is sending the proposal which is not having any technology aspect in that, ultimately it will be turned down. Even you will not discuss in the committee. So this is important to know that what are the various aspects before reaching to the fund. So I would like to invite Ashok Ajmera-ji, Dr. Ashok Ajmera-ji, for his deliberation and guiding the young entrepreneurs how to reach the fund, and before that, what preparation they should do. So over to you, and sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashish ji. In fact, it is the reverse journey. I mean, the fund said, VC fund, that what we are looking at. Actually, I would, first of all, good evening to everyone, and thank you, Resurgent and Ashish ji, for having invited me here. Along with the distinguished speakers, who are very experienced toward the fund side. I think one of them is already a startup who has already experienced Milan, both the sides of the story. So, my first message to you all, my dear entrepreneurs, is that don't just copy anyone. Don't just read the newspaper that so-and-so has got so much of valuation, so-and-so has got so much of money. This is after a great deal of grilling and everything, that person might have got that kind of money. So don't get disappointed, at a very early stage, by keeping your objective such a big. Out of 61,000 or 62,000 startups so far, only some 70, 80 have become unicorns. So maybe one out of 1,500, 1,200 or 2,000. But at the same time, don't get disheartened also. So let us start preparing that you have an idea, a very good idea, a unique idea. You have the qualification for that. You feel that you have got capacity also to build up that idea, take it forward to some level. At the very early stage, you try to arrange the funds. First from your own, your family, your very close friends, and see that how far you are going to convert that idea into a concept. Concept to journey of proof. That is another journey. And for that journey, you have to enlarge little bit of your field of arranging funds if you don't have the funds. But again, not straight away to the VC funds or what Swaminathanji's fund. So you have to look around. You have to look around some kind of angel investors where it is easier to get the fund. Give them the presentations, make them understand your idea, and you have almost come up to the proof, or you have the proof also. And now from here, you can go on to convert this into a successful commercial business. For that, the journey from here is to prepare yourself. You can't go to a bank. At today's condition, I don't think any bank is just giving money to a startup unless you have the collateral or something equally offer. You can't go straight away to an IPO, nothing to show. So you come to a systematic angel fund. There are so many angel funds, or you go to a VC fund. Now, how to prepare? So it is called as a pitch deck. How you pitch for yourself, how you pitch your idea, your company, yourself before an investor. So first of all, what is your business? What is your idea? What ingredients that idea needs to pick up and get converted into a business or a commercial successful venture? Not only the fund, you need many other things also. So put everything in the paper, in your pitch deck. This is the product or service. This will be the use of this product or service. This is going to be the prospective audience, customers. For this is the technology which you have developed, which is your own technology or something which either nobody has similar or there are some competitors, but you have an advantage over them. How do you prove that those papers, those supporting, you have to prepare? You have to also, along with your team. Now what Mr. Swaminathan said, that they don't fund to an individual. I mean, they will avoid funding to an individual unless there is a team. Discuss with your team, work out your financial projections. How much do you need immediately? What kind of cash flow you will be requiring for next 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, till the time the business start generating enough funds for itself. Don't just depend on the second round of funding, or third round of funding, or fourth round of funding, or A series funding. At any point of time, it may stop. So when you plan for the funding, plan for a reasonable amount, that at least up to some level, you are successful. You are going to a level from where you can hand it over to somebody else if required to take it forward, if you don't have that capacity further. You have to also study the overall market size, whether it is service or a product. What would be your share in that market? What is the scalability? Why a person will come in for a business of 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore, 15 crore, putting 1 crore, 2 crore or 5 crore rupees? What vision you have for the scalability of your business? It may be 20 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore, million, billion. Of course, don't read those numbers and just copy it. It should be realistic. And that is, you should be in a position to convince an investor that this is my pitch deck and I stand by everything which is written here based on my research, my own experience, my own technology. If it's a question of technology, whether the technology is patented or not. And the team, which is very, very important, your commitment to that project to take it forward for years. So many times we have seen, I myself have experienced in 50% of my startup funding that the promoters, they ran away, the startups. They got some assignment of 50 lakh rupees of per year remuneration, or 25 lakh or 1 crore package somewhere else in some other company, and they left this venture half the way, not even half the way, 1/4 the way. And that investor, the funder, he doesn't know much about your business. So your commitment is also very, very important. How do you prove that you are committed? There is a startup company coming up where the promoter, IIT Mumbai, studied abroad, came back for 6-7 years, research on that particular product, patented the product, got the government grant, aid, IIT aid through various agencies, their incubation, sign and everything. And now, after spending so much of time, he is taking it forward further to an investor or somebody. So there is a commitment that he is proving that, this is my commitment. I just can't leave because I have already put in a lot of efforts, my own 6-7 years in this project, which otherwise I would have got about 10 crore, 15 crore so far total remuneration. So I can't leave it in between now, after having come to this stage here, when I'm ready to come out with my product. So similar kind of commitment you have to convince, because you are a startup. Somebody is putting money, which is very risky money, on you. You got me? So you have to be very clear that come what may, you will not leave this venture unless you hand it over to some other capable, competent hand properly. Secondly, you have to also ascertain all the probable possible ups and downs. And if they are visible, if you can visualize, list it down to your prospective investor, the venture fund, that this might happen. Do the sensitivity analysis that in these circumstances, it might fail or might need more money, more funds, more time. But if it clicks, then it is 10x, 20x, 30x. Nobody talks below 10x nowadays. No fund. They want minimum 10x in 3 to 5 years. So this is, my dear friend, is very, very important. Again, I am saying, build up a team, take the idea from idea to the concept to the proof as far as possible from your own funds, your own relatives, your parents, because at an early stage, if you will bring any outsider, then you might have to give your stake at a very, very less valuation. There are some people who will come at par, at face value. That okay, if you have put in 50 lakhs, I put in 50 lakhs and we are 50-50. So at 50 lakh rupees, you already sold yourself today for 50%. So initially try to mobilize the fund as far as possible without those kind of high expectation of others or considerations. Now, I'll just take some time on the valuation aspect, because everybody talks about how much will you get me. At a time, I am evaluating about 6 e-vehicle companies. They are e-cycles, they are e-scooters, they are e-delivery vans. And everybody is talking about Amazon or this online, that they will hire us. 2,000 cycles, 5,000 e-cycles, 10,000 delivery vehicles, 50,000 motorcycles, you know, because they read every day, they see every day in the newspapers. But you have to understand what is the uniqueness in you. How will you create value in your business? So somebody came and he says, you know, mine is, I think about 12 to $15 million is my valuation. I said, okay, I'll come to your factory. I went, there were about 10 cycles, 15 cycles, some 20 people working. I said, how 12 million or 15 million valuation? He said, no, sir, so-and-so, you know, company, that bike company, they raised 1 billion. My dear friends, if you are young, you are a young startup, if you are experienced, forgive me. But those of you, if you are thinking of this kind of idea, just picking up from somewhere, you will get greatly disappointed. Be realistic. Understand the reality of the business. Understand how the business is being done. How do you scale your operations? How you will bring in the profitability in the business? Because at the end of the day, from somewhere, the money has to be generated. What happened to Paytm? You know, 2,150 rupees share, now trading at 750 rupees. Because you just, just went for the public issue, got the money from everywhere, from even small investors. But reality has struck. Similar story of some other. So don't get lured by that. They might have some special regions. India is a 130 crore population company. I think about 55, 60 crore ladies. So people think that everybody will use Nykaa products. But yes, there may be one such Nykaa. But you just can't copy that. You start tomorrow some fashion, some product and this thing, and say that why can't my valuation can be 1/10 of at least that. So valuation has certain basis. You have to create, you have to have that scalability in your product. You have to have that idea to compete with the other people. If it is a fresh idea, you have to create market for that idea. And be realistic, understand the failure rate. Don't read only the success stories, because a lot of frustration is creeping at the same time among the young people, among the young entrepreneurs. Don't get caught into that. Thank you for this round, and we can again come back for further discussion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Ashok sir. I think you have given you have spoken from your core of heart actually. So I think that is important that the young entrepreneurs can learn the lesson also. It is important. They should not be always in the rosy word also. But there are many successful stories are there, or many failures are there actually. So I think unless until somebody will not try, will not reach there. So very good actually. You have given the idea that how to approach, how to prepare yourself. So now, friends, we have understood the fund perspective, that how the funds are evaluating, how they are working, how they are seeing these proposals. And then we have seen from the investment banking side that how the bankers are looking and how the bankers are helping. Now we have the real, I'll say real world actually, the person who has taken the money, who has exited, who has then again looking for another company and going for another money. So we have with us Mr. Milan Ganantraji, who is the founder and CEO of One Silver Bullet. I think sir name is very good actually. One Silver Bullet. Bullet से थोड़ा डर लगता है आजकल. चलो वॉर भी चल रहा है थोड़ा सा यूक्रेन में. But good name. So Milanji is having, he's the founder of that One Silver Bullet. But before that, he has already, I think, successfully run this company which was into technology, so Mild Software. And in 2018, I think he has sold out to a Nasdaq listed company. So we made a lot of money out of that actually. So friends, he has a lot of things which he has done in his life, and he's doing many things from the startup point of view, from the technology point of view. And currently this startup which he is working, it is into B2B fintech. So fintech is the buzzword as of today, and he is also doing something great. So I will not take much of the time. I would like to invite him for his deliberation, where we would like to understand from him, I think, real example, being an entrepreneur, whenever you are looking to raise fund, basically, but what is in your mind, how you basically negotiate with the funds, how to find out the right kind of funds for you, what generally the funds are looking for, and how they are helping other than the funding actually. And you have exited also, so how was this journey? So we would like to more realistic example, like your journey in the overall fundraising, and because many times we have seen there is a misnomer, or the people are thinking, because we are also investment banker, and I am also meeting with the lot of companies on regular basis. So the entrepreneurs are generally many entrepreneurs are having this thought in their mind that the fund will come, they will have control, they will not allow you for decision making, decision making will become slow. And so there are many things which are in their mind. I think you are the better person to guide us that how to overcome these challenges, and how you have basically done it in your journey also. So thank you, and over to you, Milan sir.
Sure. Thank you, Ashishji. Thank you. Was a great, hearing from Mr. Swaminathan, and he actually just sent me a text. We kind of interacted 15 years back. Thank you, Mr. Swaminathan. We'll be in touch. He's been my customer, so it's been kind of love to have him. Great to hear, Ashokji. Very insightful. I think both of you kind of covered the great perspective from the side of the fund side. Although I've also experienced some bit of it, but it's amazing to hear how you really look at it macroscopically. So it's, I'd like to kind of firstly clarify, what does bullet mean? War but chal raha hai, lekin bullet kya hai? So silver bullet means solving a complex problem very simply. That's what it really means. So the idea is not to really kill anybody, but we just really, when I was really looking at the name of the company, it had to make some sense. Okay, because one is, you want to have a catchy name, obviously, because then people should be able to remember that. At the same time, it should be meaningful. So again, when you are really going to naming your company, don't create complex names. Create names which are catchy, and then they have to mean something. Although most of the people have not been able to follow what the silver bullet means, so I need to always clarify that. Yeah. So going back, I obviously started my journey way back in 1997, doing a job, and then started my own venture as a first phase, and raised my first private equity way back in 2008. Obviously, was an extremely wonderful experience. Although I had started my company extremely bootstrapped, was very important for us for any entrepreneur to really corely focus on your business. If you have a right business model, trust me, you have enough investors who are wanting to invest in your company. So I don't think you should just focus on raising money. Yes, it's important for you to raise money, but the focus has to be have a strong, robust business, because any investor who's going to put in money is going to see that how robust is your business. Okay, how well you really understand this business, how well you execute this business. But it's because business is just not an idea, because idea everybody can have, and I trust me, I can copy your idea tomorrow. Anybody can copy anybody's idea. It's that easy. But the difference is the team and the how you kind of execute that, and that is what I think any startup should really focus all upon. And so way back in 2008, I raised private equity from two funds, Lighthouse and Zephyr. These were both US based funds. Although I had several options, very honestly, to raise capital from, but I really looked at the funds who actually understood the business, what I was trying to do. Because it's very important that you need to have an investor who really understand your business, because they should not have any anxiousness, because they can really kind of pull the carpet below you. You just don't want to have investors who don't understand, because every business is very different, and you need to really know that, oh, this investor really understands, follow this. He may have difficult questions for you when he's going to invest, which is perfect. You're going to quiz that. That is going to actually make your, I would so call, your business plan far more stronger in case there are any kind of loopholes in your business plan, which it may be, because there is no foolproof plan. But the idea is to see that how well can you kind of have a right investor with you. Okay. So that's a very, very critical piece, which I really experienced that. And I was extremely lucky to have, although that was my work also, to ensure that who I'm going to have my investor, because he's going to be guest in my house, although he's never going to be permanent. Remember one more thing: investor finally has to exit, finally has to sell your equity and make money and return back his money to his investors. So don't think that anybody's permanent in your house. So please kind of understand that they're guests in your house, but you don't invite notorious guys in your house, right? You invite people who can contribute, who will stay with, and who really understand how your actually house rules are. Although generally the investors, I mean, at least my experience has been, if you're doing a fair and good business, they're all out there to support you, because eventually their success comes in if you as an entrepreneur are successful. So I think it's a very important thing, saying that I don't think any investor wants to take control of your company. Obviously, no, because they don't want to run any company. They don't want to run any businesses, but they want to ensure that, hey, you're doing a clean business. You're not doing hanky-panky. You're not doing things which are unethical. Okay. I think that is where they want to really keep a watch on, because they've given commitments to their investors saying, oh, you will not bribe people. You will not siphon away money. Obviously, anybody who's going to write a big check wants to ensure that they have checks and balances so that you don't misuse the money. Eventually, they betted on you in a confidence that you are going to run this business successfully and help them make money, because eventually they're investors. They're going to make money out of it. They're not doing any charity to you. They are not kind of, because they love you. They're not giving you money because they like you. They like your face, they like your shoes. They're not going to do that. They're actually putting in money because they like your business and they think they can make money out of you. Simple. So I think this is something which all of us need to know. And that also should be your objective. Your objective should not be just to raise money, because eventually you as a successful, because you need to ensure that how are you going to return that money back to him. I mean, you may not write a check from your own bank, but you're going to make sure that can he get a successful exit, because that is, I think, very, very important for any entrepreneur to understand. And my view is fundraising is a part of a small part of your business plan, because eventually your business, which is going to do well, is where you're going to make your money. You're not going to make money out of fundraising, because the money which the investor is giving you is going in the company, right? You're not going to, you can't buy an apartment from that, or you can't buy a car out of that, right? You can't use that money. The money belongs to the company, and you are going to make money, and only where your investor is going to make money. So that's something which you need to understand. So fundraise is one part, but I think the serious part comes in how well you run the company. And I think that's a key, because trust me, we're all young guys. I'm young. I'm a 15-year-old young guy. Okay, and I've started my second innings. And trust me, I could do this only because I could give a very successful exit to my investors, and my investors trusted me to the fullest. Okay, I had kind of wonderful time with my investors, because I was extremely transparent. They were extremely supportive to me. In fact, they helped me in every step of my business, because sometimes we've not seen the world, right? Because usually you are young, you've seen small part of it. We make some unrealistic, I would so call, plans and budgets, where we think the business is going to get multiplied. Yes, it can multiply, but it's not always the case. You need always have you need to really have you need an experience, which is what they really, really bring in, because you need to look at investors who are not just kind of writing a check to you, but they're going to contribute to you, contribute in multiple fashions. One is getting you customers, getting you into the ecosystem, making you hire right people, because eventually every company which is made of people, because that's what makes a difference. And when you have a great investor or a great brand with you, it makes your job far more easier to hire great people, and actually how to really nurture them, how to really treat them. I think there's lots to be learned from them, because they've really learned right things. I believe none of the investors or none of the VC funds or PE funds have any ego. They're usually extremely straightforward people, because they've been trusted by people. They expect you to reciprocate the same way. And in my new journey, I am just about to start my fundraise, but obviously, as a lot of things which were given insights by Ashokji and Mr. Swaminathan, which was extremely insightful in terms of when and why, how much money should you raise. I think and be realistic on your valuations, because important is to get a quality investor. Important is not what valuation you get. You will get your valuation in Series B, Series C, Series D. You can keep raising the money at a later date. But initially, you need to really ensure that you get a quality investor. I think and somebody maybe, let's say sometimes you have two investors. Somebody's giving you X, somebody's giving you X plus. Don't just wait saying because somebody's giving you extra valuation is not necessarily the best investor for you. Is not. Maybe the X guy is more better to you, because he's going to give you a lot of intangibles, because I think they are extremely invaluable, because that's where actually you will be able to scale up your business, because giving you a right connect. Okay, saying that, we introduce you to, let's say there's an investor who says, I'll get you Amazon deal, So that's where it's important, and not just the valuation. He may be giving you 20, 20, 30% less valuation. Don't worry on that, because eventually you need to really understand how large the cake are you going to make. Okay, because that's another very factor which I was really taught, is that do I want a full pastry, or I want a slice of a large cake? Okay, I would prefer a slice of a larger cake, which is 5 times larger than the size of a pastry. So this is what my learnings have been. I think everybody has different experiences, but usually I've observed is that the VCs and private equity funds are extremely helpful. They can play a significant role in your growth. They can contribute in every step of your success. They limit. They mostly don't interfere in your business. They interfere only and only when things go horribly wrong. Okay, they just don't, because some of the stories we may read in the newspaper, because they don't have the time. They've invested in 20, 30, 40 companies. They don't have the time to really run your company. And I mean, why would they make you a partner and run your company? They're not interested. They're interested in writing a check to you so that you run your business efficiently and make them money for you. Okay. And that's the reason they're investing. That's the clear objective. So they're not interested in running your business. They're not interested in interfering in your business. They're just not interested in doing any of those things. It's when you do something wrong, or you do something wrong, which is horribly wrong, it's where they're going to step in. It's only and only because they have to take care of their investor interest, which is absolutely fair. So that's my learning. I think good luck to all of you guys in case you're looking to raise money or are a startup. I wish you all the best and all the success.
Thank you.
Yeah, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Milan. I think you have rightly given the real life example. And two things which you have told, which are very important, is you have to understand that the investor should understand your business actually. If investor is not understanding your business, then the money will not help you only. So that is one thing. And the valuation also, you have given very good example that it's not necessary that you should go with the valuation which is higher valuation. You have to see that what value is bringing by the investor also. So the investor has right to choose you, and then you have the right to choose the investor also. That is important.
Correct.
So that's a very real life example which can come from the experience only. And I really happy that you have covered that part in this discussion. So I think valuation is the one word, valuation and term sheet. I think these two are the key terms in the entire fundraising part. So I would like to come back to Swaminathan sir. Sir, term sheet क्या होता है? Term sheet मतलब बहुत बार मतलब many people are discussing the term sheet is a very complex document, and so whenever you as an investor when you are issuing this term sheet, what is the relevance of it actually, and generally what do you cover in that actually?
Basically, Ashish, our idea in the term sheet is to express our interest in investing into the venture, provided the diligence and other conditions that we have specified in the term sheet are broadly met. It is basically a basic intent, a letter of intent. Jaise that may what is given by an institution, it is something similar. Based on that, we negotiate and then go forward. That is what a term sheet is. We don't in there we don't generally talk about valuation and other things. Broad terms basically, wherein we express our interest in investing going further.
It's a kind of LOI, letter of intent.
Bilkul.
Letter of intent.
Okay.
It means that they are ready to look at the,
yes, and look at you very seriously.
Very seriously. Yes.
So it's not a binding kind of commitment.
It is not a binding.
It's not a commitment.
Binding document is the share subscription or a shareholder agreement. That's what is a binding agreement.
Or binding term sheet.
Binding.
If it is written as binding term sheet, then only. So the first clearance of the IC. Then again, I think for investment, it may go again for the final.
Final ka generally, sir, the IC powers are delegated to the management team, who then does the basic work of diligence and then negotiating on the various terms and conditions. Jo fir fit SHA is made. And in all this, a lawyer is very important role to play. So both lawyer for the investors and for the startup, it is very important that they play an important role. We have standardized term sheets and standardized SHAs, but they have to be customized. It is not something which is cut and dry, means aapne bana diya ek suit, ready-made suit nahi ho sakta. It has to be customized.
Okay. Very good, sir. Very good. So Ashok sir, I think you have covered this part, how to prepare yourself and all. So in one such kind of transaction, generally how much time it takes whenever any entrepreneur is planning to go for venture capital?
It all depends that how much prepared you are when you when you come to us or come to anyone for guidance or this thing, or you approach directly to the angel fund? What is your preparation up to that extent? If you have prepared everything which I said earlier in my submissions, then, once you it depends. If it is in a pure angel fund which is not even a AIF, few people getting together, forming that LLP, 4 or 5 friends, and they start receiving the proposals and they take the decision, and those kind of things can be done even in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, because the actual due diligence and other thing will start later. But they can definitely tell you whether we are interested or not interested in 2 to 3 weeks time, whether this particular model, this particular business.
Sir, I can say when I've invested, I've sometimes take a decision after the first meeting that I have an intent, but I go to my other partners, and then make up our mind after meeting the promoters once or twice, and then we go embark, as Ashok sir says, on the diligence, etc.
Yes, Mr. Swaminathan, I did about, I'm very early this thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't make not even a unicorn, not even corn out of those some of those early investments. But we took decision very fast. If it is a first stage angel funding, you see there is a little difference between the angel funding and the VC. VC is an institution or a company where they first raise the funds from their investor into that company or take their commitments to invest further. It's a team of the people who may or may not be all the investors. They may be employee of that.
It's third party money, sir. It is third party money.
Third party money.
Not your money or my money. It is someone else's money. So we have to be that much more careful.
So there the whole process is to be involved, and it may take, as he said, maybe 2 months to 4 months time.
But easily it would take from 3 months to 3 months to 6 months also sometimes, because people are not prepared at various levels.
But in case of angel fund, where the 3, 4, 5, 10 people get involved, their own direct money is involved. They are only the decision maker. They are only the investors. There the decisions are taken very fast. And there are a pool of investors with the people like us. Many of them are there. Like suppose I have say 30, 40 HNI investors. They have given me blanket permission that if you get anything of this kind, if the ticket size is 20, 25 lakhs, 15 to 25 lakhs, you put my money also into that. So, those kind of things become little easier. So the first round of funding, you want 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, a small amount, $500,000, something like that. You can just go to these HNIs or some funds which are collectively putting money of the HNIs into you, which takes
organized भी है, organized भी है. Mumbai Angels है, Delhi में भी एक fund है ऐसा. But then there are so many of them.
Yeah, what I'm saying that some of them are SEBI regulated, that is through the AIF route. Some of them are not regulated. They just have the bunch of investors with them. They negotiate and do everything, but the investment comes directly from their members to the company. Where the ticket size is 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, or maybe 50 lakhs. I did one recently for a small amount of 1.5 million. He wanted a ticket size to be minimum 50 lakhs. We generally give 24 hours, 72 hours for our members to respond. But within 3 hours, only the entire 1.5 million was full. Because he brought in with such a concept that he can detect cancer by blood test. So, it all depends. But generally, it may take 1 to 3 months, even in case of a HNI investor, angel fund also.
Good. I think it depends on whether institutional investor is coming or whether say the private investors are coming. Depend on the type of investor. The time can be taken 1 month to 6 months. I think what I believe from your discussion. So Milan sir, I think you have experienced the journey. I'll come again to you. So generally, whenever any startup or any entrepreneur is approaching to the investors, So what is the success rate? I mean, how many investors somebody has to reach? Then there is any math on that you will get the
I
money
don't think
this much
there is
investor.
any set rule. So there is no set rule. So let's say in my case, earlier company, it was love at first sight. Okay, so we met the investors. They loved our concept. We liked their thing. So it was extremely quick and so on. So I don't think that there is any set rule. As even right now, the example was given by Ashok ji, saying that the guy came in, was a unique concept, and they were able to raise the money in 3 hours. So I don't think so there is any set rule saying how many doors you need to knock. But I must tell one thing. Uh, you need to be prepared before you reach an investor. You need to be you need to be able to be in a position to answer most of the questions. So at least you get a positive or a negative response. So you're not wasting time behind an investor in case he's not interested. Yeah, there's no problem because there is somebody else who wanted to do it. But if you go with half information, with not really convinced on your own idea, no investor is going to write a check to you unless he has complete set of information. At least he knows that you are confident, you're well prepared, you can very well run this business. I think, to my mind, I would take that as a very critical thing. You need to be very, very well prepared before you knock anybody's door.
Okay. So,
Well said.
yes, sir, please. So one last question, I think, which is the most important question of the entire fundraising, the valuation actually, because everything drives under that actually. So Milanji, what do you see that what are the basically ways of getting the good valuation? I'm not saying that somebody should do something wrong, but there are methods or there are ways of fetching the good valuation. So if you can guide us.
See, my view is your clarity of thoughts, your strong business plan, with actually clear understanding of what we call as total addressable market, TAM. What are those? I mean, real numbers. Because end of the day, if you can talk numbers, somebody can really write you numbers. So that's very important thing. So you need to be really strong on your number work to ensure that you have a great business idea. Okay, but if your numbers are not very clear, the investor is not going to feel confident about giving you that valuation, because I think that needs to be very well backed up, because that number just cannot be saying, I felt that this is the market size. No, it has to be backed up by enough research. There's enough data available which needs to be backed up by. So you need to have real numbers backed up with evidences, which kind of gives the enough conviction to the investor. I think, to my mind, number is key before you want to really step in and convince the investor. I think that's a very important factor.
Good. So Swaminathan ji or Ashok ji, would you like to add in that? Because valuation.
See, valuation lies in the eyes of the beholder. For every person, the valuation is going to be different. There are various methodologies for valuation. We in our fund have 3-4 methodologies that we do. Finally, at end of the day, the promoter and us have to jointly decide what is there, how do we evaluate. But in the venture capital and the PE circle, as the others would also say, that we have convertibles. We price ourselves to discount to the next round so that we discover valuation. Means that is a easier way out rather than determining a number on day zero. So,
Correct.
So we have a methodology to do all that. We can actually fix the valuation on day zero, but sometimes when the promoter's expectations or he thinks that he'll be performing better, give him that option. That if you want to take this, we are willing to take that risk.
I would like to add something here, or rather a little bit elaborate. Mr. Swaminathan is absolutely right. Many a time we face this, like I was giving an example of that. So e-vehicle, so suppose you have two kind of businesses. One is so-called technology.com, the cash burn businesses. And other one is still with the idea, new invention, new patent, brick and mortar kind of a businesses. They also exist in the startup space. So the method in both the cases will be little different. Here there is in case of a brick and mortar business where you can show the kind of production, kind of delivery, the sales in future with some sensitivity analysis, you can reach to a valuation up to a finer level today itself. You know, when you have so many pieces of so many goods and so many things sold in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 7 year, 10 year with a perpetuity valuation growth of 1% or 2%, you can bring DCF through the DCF method by giving the discounting for a new company, new invention, WACC little high at 25, 26%, and you can reach to a more realistic valuation today itself. But even after that, if a promoter says it's low, much lower than my expectation, then what you do? You put a floor valuation, which is comfortable to both. Say somebody is saying my valuation is 50 crore. I say no. Today, if you want this kind of fund, a small fund, you do it, take lesser money, minimum required for your immediate next 2 years or 1.5 years of requirement, even at a lower valuation. Okay, put a fresh floor valuation of 25 crore, say, not 50 crore. But if you perform certain milestones, or when you raise the next round of the funding, which is already evident in your plans today itself, you give so much of discount to the people who have come in today at 25 crore. So within 12 months, if you go, you will give a discount of 15%. Say within 18 months, if you go for next round, you will give a discount of 25% accordingly, so that they are also happy, you are also happy, that you got the realistic actual valuation, which otherwise would have been, you are not, nobody has made fool out of you and your idea, and the fund is also happy that in 1 year I am getting a discount at 15%, 20%, whatever negotiated discount rate, and in 2 years I am getting 24% or 30% already now. So this is how the valuation is not strictly by just DCF method. In one of my client, I am doing it, the DCF method is coming 175 crore, the valuation today. What I am advising him to go for only 30 crore. But I am telling him don't raise entire 1 million, entire it, whatever amount, 10 crore or 15 crore or 2 million or whatever it is. Raise whatever you need for next 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years. So that you don't have to dilute much of your equity today itself. Secondly, the structuring. It's a plain vanilla equity, or whether it is a convertible, CCPS, or whether it is CCD, or based on certain formula, the conversion will take place. So these are all between negotiation between the fund and the client, and the legal person or the people like us who are in between to decide the structure, whichever is beneficial to all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think all our panelists have spoken with the kind of passion, their interest in the subject. It really shows that our audience or the participants will have a lot of learnings today from the BC point of view, and we have taken a lot of real-time examples also, and realistic approach I think we have kept in this discussion. It might be some people might be thinking that we are on the realistic side. Basically, we are maybe on the conservative side, but it is not like that. I think we should know both the sides of the story basically. So the optimistic and the other side of the story should be known also. So friends, I think we have learned today how to approach the investors, how to evaluate how the investors are evaluating your proposals, how they work actually, because unless until you will not know that how the investors are working inside or there in their entire system, then you will not be in a position to know that that how the proposal is processing inside. And then we have a real-time example, the person who has raised money, who has exited, and he has faced the challenges, whatever the challenges have been faced. So he has given the complete example from his experience. So I believe it's a great learning for all of us, and hopefully some of our entrepreneurs who are listening us, they will be, I think, using our discussion or whatever the learnings they have in their fundraising. And in spite of it, if they have any question, anything, they can ask from us. They can write to the Surgeon India, and we will take up with the panelists their questions, and we will reply that also. So I think we have already crossed the time limit. So I would like to close the session here. And I would like to thank you to all the panelists for their deliberation, for their I think huge and the kind of passion, basically the energy which they have shown in the entire discussion. That is very important for all of us. In spite of it, they are senior people, veteran of the industry, and they have taken time for this discussion. It is really important, and it is really valuable for all of us. And I would like to thank you to all the participants also, because without them it cannot be successful. Then I would like to thank you to SBI, who is our partner this program. And then I have the Resurgent India team, my team, who has worked hard to make it successful. And they brought all of us at one place to discuss on this topic. So thank you everybody once again, and wish you very happy and healthy and safe life. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.